president of the Winston-Salem Urban League Young
I'm
Professionals.
sorry, if y'all see going live, I'm just
Yeah.
recording this on my YouTube. But go ahead.
Okay, all good. Should I start my introduction over? Or no, we good?
You can. This is just for my notes, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Yeah. So, YP president, but I also do marketing and communications for the Innovation Quarter. Also own my own marketing consulting company, and just happy to be here.
Destiny.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Good morning. Destiny McKinney here. I am, like Shalee had said, a mother of 5, a wife to 1. And that is not all, but it sure does feel like it sometimes. I am a student affairs practitioner by trade, avid supporter of historically Black colleges and universities, and I'm currently working on my dissertation in adult education. And so right now I consult with universities and community builders across wherever I can, now that we're virtual, and I use the platforms as much as I can. And excited to be here. I don't know if there's anything else I left out.
Oh, that was perfect. Miss Clark, are you in class? Oh, you can talk.
I'm not. I just look like a roach, like really bad, and y'all look so good, and I look like a toad. But anyway,
I have my pajamas.
No.
The only reason I'm not worried today because y'all my friends, and if we all spent the night together and we woke up, I'd be fine.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna turn it on. I'm gonna turn it on. Just don't freak out.
Ain't nobody on here but us.
Don't freak out. Like don't freak out. You know.
She kills me. Go.
I don't even have a bra on either, so just know.
Okay.
You good.
Okay. So
this is Shalee's meeting. Look, y'all come as you are. We good.
So my name is Jaden Clark. I'm a senior. I'm a mass comm major. I'm a justice studies minor. And I'm currently serve as the SGA president this year. So basically I'm in like a lot of spaces between students and then admin, faculty, staff. And a lot of times I'm on those levels where it's mostly like male dominated and typically like a female or woman president, should I say, kind of goes through it the harshest. So trying to maintain that and still be a full-time student and worry about post-grad is kind of difficult. After graduation, I'm going to go to grad school. I'm going to go to Texas State and study public relations because I want to have my own PR firm. So, yeah.
No, this is so awesome. I just want to support you. I'm like, Jaden, how can I support you? Like, I love your determination. I love your sense of audacity and leadership because it takes something to win the presidency, and then also it takes something else to be an efficient and effective president. And it seems as if you're doing that, especially considering that you're here today. So I just wanted to give you that bit of confirmation on this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I put my cell phone number in the text messages. I need you to take that down, and I need you to call.
The comment.
I am
in the private chat.
You know what I'm talking about. I am working on my PhD at Texas State University. I got my master's from Texas State University. I know that campus climate and environment, and I need to prepare you for what you're about to walk into. And I need to connect you with Dr. Sherry Ben, who is my mentor, who is also the director of the Student Diversity and Inclusion space at Texas State. She will be your Harriet for the Underground Railroad in that space. And you need to connect with her before you get to that campus so you are able to deal with what you're going to deal with in that space. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Jaden.
It's the highlight for me.
It's the don't get me started. You know what I'll say.
Y'all working because y'all don't know. Like I've been paranoid, like scared, like I usually be cool and calm, but like this whole trying to relocate and transition in a freaking pandemic and in spite of all this going on. I had a conversation with my roommate the other night. We were about in tears and I don't be crying like that. Just stressed and worried. And like today I have BOT meetings with all these people that are pretty much looking at me like not trying to take me serious or nothing like that. So it's just been stressful for real. So thanks for like the advice, the help. I'm here to take it just as long as you're here to give it. So thank you.
And see, and this is what I'm speaking of. That's why when it comes to ladies first, actually with ladies first, it's something that like when Black History Month is over, and you're like, oh, just because February is over doesn't mean that we can't. But then you got to move on to the next thing, right? Ladies first. Every time I bring the circle of women together, it always ends up being a group, and somebody ends up connecting. But that's what we do as women. Honestly, a lot of times we're not afraid to, sister, you're not, nope, I got you, I'm about to connect you. And those things happen all the time. And that's why we are moving up silently, because silently it's almost like we're our own sorority, being women. And we silently say, come over here, we got you. I know you're smart enough. I know you can do this. I'm about to move you up, because I know you're needed in this space. So that happens in entertainment, politics, entrepreneurship, education, like every area is happening. But and just like we had just mentioned earlier, that's my whole mindset is when it comes to it's our time. That's why I like that. I wanted to do this, just us talking, because it makes you think of things like, okay, boom, it's our time. It's Jaden's time. When she gets to Texas State, I get them all mixed. Okay, Texas State, she's prepared because she's already met who she needs to meet. She got destiny. She's got, she knows, exactly where to go and how to walk up in that space because she's prepared. How many of our young ladies are prepared to be a woman as an SGA woman, female? How many females do we know as, they might listen to a podcast, or they may, but how many are really hearing people that are giving the real, like, no, it's about to be hard and they about to beat you down, but this is what you need to do, and this is what I went through, and this is how I want you to lead, because it is our time. So that's what in Destiny, all of y'all have been on all of my different panels, and you notice this is usually the way that I do my panels. Like, I like to talk to people first. This is what we're going to talk about, but I like for us to just go in, question each other, have some, something prepared where we have these conversations, and everybody's just sitting there like they just listening, like, yeah, that was real. That's exactly what I needed. And that's what I want this to be like. I don't want it to be, and that's why I choose certain people, because I don't want it to be dry and, it's like, well, the theorem no. I mean, if you gotta use it. But also, be prepared for, if I'm going to use that, am I getting the message across to these individuals that want to or don't want to hear that? Or if I say with this theorem and the way that, you see the uprise of women in hip hop, this is how it compares and all that. I promise you, the first time that I truly cared about hip hop is when I had I was at NASAP. Well, Destiny, like every time they would have, like, there was this one guy who was a guest speaker. He always talked about hip hop. He was an older guy, kind of like he was like all into Africa and all this stuff. Anyway, can't remember his name, but he talked about hip hop, and the way that he did was just like that. He paired it with theorems and history and all this stuff, and the way he did it, I love music. Bump music. I love hip hop. Like hip hop itself. Like hip hop is a thing. It is definitely a culture. And so the way when I say hip hop is reality is because it is my reality. And so that's why I stay so strong with that. And so when it comes to ladies first, the reason why I make sure I do this every year, regardless, I don't care how many people show up, I'm gonna do it, is because it's needed. It's needed for us to come together and have these conversations. What will we be talking about? Again, how do we look at it's our time? And in each person's area, like the one thing that I want to bring up is confidence. Destiny knows this about me. I done cried to her about it. And Abria, we ain't had our sit down and drink session yet because, we still schedule it. But I promise you, I'm gonna be sitting there. We've had conversations like when we go to Dogwood, we sit there and we be talking about the Black people. And it'd be too many people waiting for me to get deep with you. But there've been times where you even said to me, you'd be like, Shalene, that's why you on my team, because we need to, and we'd be ready to mobilize and do some things. But COVID happened and whatever. But those moments always pick me up. And you know, when I stop in my own quiet time and I'm thinking about the one thing that I'm conquering, and is my thing is my anxiety. And you know, when Jaden mentioned her anxiety, it's like that's what we're dealing with. We're on the surface, we can paint it up, we can look like ain't nothing wrong. But then inside we are falling apart. We are crumbling. And I think, I mean, it's mainly because we don't talk, or we feel like we must continuously be strong, because if we're talking about strong women, which I forget what I was watching the other day, but they were talking about how, you know, women at a time stopped talking about black women. When they say black and strong and all, you know, these little things that they say about us, we weren't saying that about ourselves. Other people were saying that about us. And then we get out here and say, I'm a black woman, I'm strong, but we're not. We are, but inside we don't have the support we need.
Yeah, you're talking about the power of vulnerability, which to me is definitely a sort of a very adult and recent sort of thing for me, if you will. But like, so thematically, I'm hearing a lot of things about like the power of ladies first, in terms of being able to, whether it's reach back to people like Jaden and empower her, or, you know, or even me, you know, finding someone even above me to, you know, to pull me up and empower me, and to that point, the legacy of ladies first, and how when one of us opens the door. So actually, Jaden, I'd be curious, like, for example, is your VP a woman, or like, is there anyone coming behind you? Are you grooming someone to take your place? And so even that sense of intentionality, because I know that you're certainly, as you have the right to be preoccupied with your life as you get it together, but we also have to understand that we have to constantly have that sense of intentionality, of like moving forward, but also like pulling forward, if you will. But what you're talking about in terms of anxiety and confidence and vulnerability, are 100% themes that I think will resonate with all of us.
I would just, when you first started talking, Shelly, and I was taking some little notes, I just kept writing down duality and complexity, because I don't feel duality fits more so when I'm thinking about Black women. I think we're more complex than just duality, and there's not a word that can encompass it just yet. But then you pull it all together when you just said confidence, and I think the biggest piece that we need to that needs to be like an underlying thing is this spectrum of what it is to be a woman, and to be confident and owning that space. And so you can be this, and not like, oh, they can accept you over here, we have to ease you in over here. And I'm going back to the references of Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B, of because I think it was something like, oh, you know, Meg can twerk, or she can have her butt out. And I was like, no, she can do that. And she can also protest and stand up for what's right. She can do both and still be looked at and viewed as a whole person who is respected in both spaces. And so having those conversations of, you can be ratchet in an academic, you can be ratchet in a politician, you can be whoever it is you want to be, wholly in yourself, and be present. And so I think that that was a big piece, just the duality and complexity of what it is to be a woman, and navigating that when in these spaces, because you're going to be tried.
In my I take a class. It's called,
I wanted to introduce Shimona, but we're going to do that right after you, Clark. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. So I got a class. What's it called? Advancing. It's a long title, but it's a great class. I can't tell you though, but it's a great class. But in there, we just talk about a lot of the similar things that y'all have been mentioning. And the biggest conversation has been like that double standard, or the fact that when it comes to women versus the men, and how the view is always women are quote unquote ratchet, but we're in a market, or typically those people in like a music industry and acting industry, you're in a market to where you're expected to sell. And if only certain things are selling, are you supposed to just dim down just because you're a woman, or just because you're expected to be like, what do you call it? Like sophisticated, not sophisticated. You know what I'm saying? Reserved, or you're supposed to be proper or whatever. But how can you be proper in a male dominated market that always talks about drugs or sex or violence, or what are you supposed to do? Like, I know back in the day we had people like Queen Latifah, we had people freaking the TLC, we had people like, you know, that were saying other messages. But in this current climate of today, like, that doesn't always sell the best. So you're kind of just left to doing what you can to make yourself thrive. And it's not that that's your only platform or your only brand, but sometimes that's the only thing that's kind of focused and zoomed in on. It's just that aspect of somebody's life. So a lot of times we talk about double standards every day in that class. That's why I just kind of like, I saw what y'all were talking about. I see what y'all saying.
See, it's all relating and coming together. Go ahead, Miss Shimona. Shimon.
Hi, how are you guys doing, you ladies? Everyone's good.
Great.
So I'm trying to catch in the conversation. So I don't know much of what's been discussed. I could just answer Jaden. How do you pronounce your name?
Jaden.
There's a
Jaden.
whole conversation about the way her name is spelled, because it's okay.
That's okay.
That's not even the way it's supposed to be spelled. Winston State did that.
To each his
But
own.
guess what?
But
We're holding it
but
because
that-
it's gonna be her brand. Go ahead.
That goes exactly to what I was going to answer. You asked you asked the question of how do you I guess you didn't say stay true to yourself, but how do you market yourself or whatever when you're in a male dominated society? And simple answer of what I can get is you be true to yourself. Because it's around doesn't mean you have to partake in it. Drugs is around. Do you do it? Yeah, we definitely seen that sex sells. Do you have to do it? We've also seen that conservatism sells. So it's finding a balance. You can very well still, let me back up for a quick second and I'll tell you kind of like I go off in tangents a little bit. I've been in higher ed. Well, I was in higher ed for about 12 years. And now I'm a licensed therapist with private practice. And so I knew that, and you can look at it today, there are many professionals, if that's what you are going towards. And again, I don't know the basis on the conversation, so I'm just picking up the tail end of it. That, hold on, let me ask a question. We having a real conversation?
Yeah, what we're doing, because I see, woo,
Okay.
that's why I'm recording this, because at the end of the day, this is still some good stuff. We are discussing what we will, I like to have discussions before I have a paneled event, because it makes us feel comfortable in the mood we're having these conversations as a program. It is way more, word was just in my head, is way more, I won't say natural, but it's something else I'm looking for. Somebody's going to say it. Authentic and
Organic.
Both of those words. See, boom, that's why y'all here.
So I asked that like I said, I'm going off. And what's the title of the program?
So it's I think this is my 5th year or my 4th year of Ladies First, and our sub theme is It's Our Time. So
wait a minute. I should have it finished by Saturday. I'm sending it to you. Remember, Did you see the video I did for Black History?
I remember you talking about it. I did not see it.
Des, you saw the video, right? I'm doing a Women's History one. And everything you said, ladies now, and like my closing message is, ladies, now was the time for you to do this. Now was the time for you to do that. So yes. And the music is, the music will be, I start out with Betty Wright, I Am Woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so she talks about letting her voice be heard. And then she talks about, roaring. And then I close with Katy Perry, Roar. You're going to hear us roar. But to go back and answer the question that we were just talking about, I know we got off sidebar. I can still dress very professional. I can go in my fitted dress. It's going to accentuate all the curves and stuff like that. But do I need to? I can wear that and I don't have to have my ass out. And so that's why I wanted to make sure how we were having a true and appropriate conversation. I can wear my skinny jeans that I know, and we know now all skinny jeans, you got to jump to put them on. We know that they're going to
say that if you can't jump into your jeans, then you don't what?
Okay, if you can't pull that leg up and, I can do all of that. But do I need to also wear the booty cheek shorts? And when I'm talking about booty cheek shorts, let me let you know, I live in Miami. So do I need to wear the booty cheek shorts that literally have my butt cut off? If I wear those, where am I wearing those? So it's not always about the environment in which we live in. It's not always about that we know sex sells. It's also where you're selling the sex. If I'm on the beach, if I'm walking down on South Beach, yeah, that's cool. Am I going to the grocery store like that? Heck no. So it's really time and place and what's appropriate for those settings. I've seen, and I was one, went to work faithfully every day, dressed to the nines, like Shimona, oh my goodness, you look good, X, Y, and Z, wore pumps, I could wear slacks and all of that thing. And I still received much more attention and I still was respected more. So it didn't mean that I had to wear certain things. It didn't mean, and even going out in society, it doesn't mean that I have to degrade myself and so forth so that I could be respected, because at the end of the day, and there's so much. I don't have to degrade myself in order to be respected. But at the same time, if that's what you are used to, and if that's how you feel comfortable, who am I to tell you that that's different? And so part of what I've realized is it's also based upon your perspective. Because we can, yes, we see it all the time. We look at, Housewives and all these other things, and we see nothing but them wearing the leggings and the heels. I'm like, how the hell you go to the gym in a one-piece bodysuit?
Houseway.
I'm like, babe, that is not comfortable. But you see that because that's the image.
Eyebrows and eyelashes, sweating.
But you see that because that's the image that's portrayed. Can I go to the gym and be matching and still wear my sports bra and my leggings? Absolutely. Can I go and I'm matching even in my tank top that fits my pants and stuff like that? Absolutely. It's what you feel comfortable in. And also, and I'm gonna go back to it again, it's what's appropriate for the settings.
I agree with you. I was talking about in terms of so that's true when it comes to us, because we're not rappers or we're not, dance, we're not in that industry to where that, okay. We're not typically in that industry like mainstream hip hop, mainstream R&B setting, but that's the stuff that sells in that industry. But I agree with you saying as far as me and you and us. But as far as women that are expected to sell all these huge hit records, if they're not talking about a certain thing in the beginning of their career, if they're not, that's why a lot of labels, they try to dictate what you can say or the type of music you put out when you first start, because they want you to sell. And then it's once you sell all these records and we still have you, then maybe you can talk about, whatever you want to talk about, whether that's women empowerment or whether that's da-da-da-da. But my question was just, why is that the case for women in that industry, but not for men? Men can literally talk about anything in the world that they want to, as long as it's making money. It doesn't matter. They can talk about whatever. But it's just a double standard with women in that industry. But I agree with everything you just said, as far as, whatever you're comfortable with, and who am I to tell you what you can and can't do.
So my apologies. I completely went off. Like I said, I caught the tail end. I feel that it's the same thing for men. Men have to talk about sex. Men talk about the same three things: sex, drugs, shooting, and money for the most part. So women, and you have to look at it differently. As we've talked about before, it's a certain caliber of the woman that's talking about that. It does not lessen Nicki, Cardi. It does not lessen them or any of them for who they are. But after a while, also their music changes. We can take, but then there are still others that don't talk about that are superstars. I meant Beyonce, but of course we know it's Beyonce. It's Beyonce. Beyonce could sing the ABCs, and we're like, let's buy it. We're all in her butt.
But Beyonce does and has. It's just that Beyonce has weaved it in such a way. If you're not listening, you won't hear. And
that's exactly where I was going to go. She went from being the wholesome, I'm your neighbor next door, to Watermelon.
Oh, as soon as she had the babies and got married, she told everybody,
Watermelon.
Your kids might not want to listen to what I play now.
Watermelon.
Yeah.
Watermelon. Y'all know what watermelon is?
Surfboard. Go ahead.
Everyone knows what watermelon is. And so, but she's not blatantly putting it out there. We're adults. I'm swallowing.
Yeah. Them seeds. Them seeds.
She always extra.
But it is blatant, and that's my thing.
Yeah.
It's because it's out there, and now the
Mhm.
veil is lifted, and I think that's a
Yeah.
big piece. Is like when your ladies first, that's our time, is lifting the veil.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
talking shame, self, others, and deficit.
Mm.
The biggest piece for us, especially across Black women, just all women, is just this thing of shame.
Mm.
Simple of, girl, you got on a lot of makeup. Just say that you don't know how to put on makeup. Okay,
We
just
are
say you can't do this. Like
we are quick to degrade each other.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't give men an opportunity to do it. We don't give other races an opportunity to do it.
Mm.
Most critical of all are the Black women against other Black women. As Destiny said, just admit you don't know how to put on makeup. Oh yeah, my makeup may be a little too much for you, but it's my makeup on my face that I paid for with my money. It doesn't have a good god darn to do with what you care.
So I think that's a big one. Just like shame, self, and others. The introspective. Like if you're gonna talk about it's our time, I think it's a lot of looking at ourselves internally to prepare ourselves for what we're trying to do next. Because you have to be able to know wholly who you are to enter these spaces and be who you want to be. And it's whatever, whomever, however you want to present, as long as it's on your terms. And your terms are different from mine. I will never know and understand your terms or the battle that you have to endure to stand in your terms. But I shouldn't be a part of the crew that cuts you down.
Mm-hmm.
So, like another theme that I'm hearing that very much connects to the hip hop conversation, as well as the sort of introspective discussion that Destiny has mentioned, is this idea of accountability. And so, especially when it comes to finance, like when we talk about our salaries, I often hold women more accountable for us not getting our money than I do these men, because we often don't ask and don't take the initiative. So whether it's making sure that we are holding ourselves accountable to bring our authentic selves to work, or holding ourselves accountable to know our values and our value rather, and to demand that others know our value. Into the hip hop conversation, I actually worked in hip hop for quite a bit of time. You can't see it, but if I lifted my computer, I got like some XXL posters from my time working there. I also worked in urban marketing promotions, Epic Records. So that's like Future, Sierra, Travis Scott, all of them. So it's again, accountability. So what it comes down to is, like you asked, Jaden, to your question, like you asked, okay, like why is this so? And often what I tell people is I put part of this on the fans of what are you listening to? What are you buying? And especially these days where much of the sort of conduit or sort of pipeline for talent is coming from social media. If you don't watch it, the record company isn't going to be interested in it for the most part. These days, they aren't so interested in things like artist development and taking time, like they did with like a Billie Eilish, and taking the time to build someone and inputting their ideas. These days, they're more just kind of riding the wave with what's already popular. And so I also, so I just would say, just think about what you're listening to, what you're consuming, just like with your dollar, right? When you go anywhere and you shop, being mindful of where you use that stream, where you place that dollar, is also partially on us in terms of which artists bubble to the top.
And so this is how I want us to, go through what we would do on the 25th. My thought is at the beginning for us to introduce ourselves and to say why we feel like it's our time. And I want to base that because, of course, the conversation will become to the point where our titles, who we are, what we've done kind of goes away, and we're all talking about certain subjects, even though a lot of who we are, like Sharmona being a therapist and Abria being, everything you have. I mean, when you talk, you speak in a marketing mindset, but it's a way that you think about it, and it makes you kind of think back to yourself like, wow, yeah, let me start checking that, because if I didn't, pay attention to this, and then people wouldn't, so that's going to start coming out. But I want the beginning to be based on who I am. This is who I am, and why I say as a woman it's our time, blah blah blah. So everybody just give their little piece at the beginning, and then and I know Destiny's taking some notes, so keep some of the questions and things that you're kind of charting down, so that during the time that we're having this discussion, we can all pose different questions to each other, and not have, because it.
Will they be able to pose questions?
Yes. So I want to show that before we get off this. Has everybody done StreamYard before? Okay. If y'all could quickly go over to YouTube and look up my name, Shalee Broussard, and you'll find my my YouTube page. And when you do, you'll see the live. Let me make sure I'm muted. So hold up. Sorry. Shut up. Mute. Okay. And you'll see the live, because I have it live right now. No one, of course, we can see no one's watching it or whatever, but I'm just gonna record this and then I'm gonna make this private so I can just have it for my notes. Who's coming on? I feel like somebody. Oops. Somebody. Oh, Heather. Hey, Heather. Hey, girl. Hey. Look at Clark. And so when we have the event, there are ways that like go to the YouTube and put a comment. Put in any comment you want. So Heather, we're on this. I'm using my personal YouTube page so that everybody can see how this works. If for those who never did StreamYard. So somebody just put in a comment on that YouTube page. Anybody put in a comment yet? Just drop a comment in there. And so as the audience watch, and if they have any questions, I think y'all, hey girl. So boom, so we could drop it like that. So if someone has a question or if they have like a really cool comment, I can pull that up and everyone can see it. And as you guys, we've kind of practiced this because you guys dropped your, I know, I know, girl. And so in the private chat is where if we want to drop some, like, let's drop this question next or whatever, that can keep us flowing that way. And then, yeah, so that way we can keep up with all that with the audience. That way they're not, all their stuff isn't just coming up and popping up on here. Now on YouTube, they'll be able to see each other, talking on, no, they won't, because they'll be watching it through us, right? I don't think they'll see.
Yeah, the feed is right there, so they'll be able to see the feed of.
Yeah, they'll still see the feed, but it won't come up on our broadcast here on StreamYard. But then there'll be some other cool things that I'll do, because I'll drop some banners where I'll do something like this, join the question and add questions in the comments. So as you guys are talking, I'll be over here kind of dropping a couple of things. On the banner, I might put welcome Rams or whatever, welcome ladies or welcome audience or something there. So I'll be playing around with that as the show's going on. But the main thing is everybody just enjoying the conversation. And as we have, we're getting to the end of this, but I'd like for Miss Heather Davis to introduce herself. And Heather, I recorded this on YouTube, so I'll send this to you so you can see what we discussed in the beginning.
That'd be awesome. I appreciate it.
No problem.
I'm Heather Davis. I now currently serve as the Executive Director for Student Engagement and Leadership at North Carolina Central University. Previously, I was at Winston-Salem State University as the Dean of Campus Life.
Is that all you were gonna say? Okay, because we ain't got time. Right.
Out of curiosity, Heather, where are you from?
Detroit.
Nice.
Well, go around. Well, you know, Destiny. Where did Shimona left?
Yeah, she said she had to
for
go to
another
the client.
client.
Oh, okay. Abria, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey, Heather. I'm Abria. I work in the Innovation Quarter, so one of your former neighbors. And I'm also YP president for the Urban Young Professionals. Great to meet you, Heather.
Nice to meet you as well.
So yeah, we'll have based on who all we have a part of this panel. Everybody's coming from everywhere. And Heather, when you look back, like honestly, as we were talking, y'all, for a moment, I was like, oh, I forgot this is a meeting. But that's the way I like for that's the way I like for this to roll, because I want it to be organic and authentic. I want this conversation, even though, and Heather, I'll say this at the beginning. What I'm going to do, we're going to open up, and at the beginning, I'm going to work on this, but I'm trying to. Let me show y'all something. If you haven't experienced StreamYard, I'm just going to look weird. I'm about to drop something, and then I'll explain it in a minute. So. Okay, so boom. I'm looking at doing a short little commercial kind of thing that happens at the beginning. It might be a flyer that pops up, y'all's picture. So I want you guys to send me your best picture that you like to be a part of this quick little video that I'm gonna create. So it'll probably be like a little 30-second little thing at the very beginning, which gives us a countdown. And then as soon as the countdown is completed, because that's what we saw, the little countdown, when it completes, first thing will be me welcoming everyone to Ladies First, letting everyone know, what this is all about. And then we'll go around, we'll have an order, and everybody will go around and introduce yourself. So the main thing is, my name is, this is what I do. And the title of this is It's Our Time. So everyone will speak on why they feel like it's our time as women right now in 2021. And basing it on your current career. And that way it just gives everybody an idea, like, okay, that's the mindset she's going to speak from. But when we start talking, it might get a little mixed up a little bit, because, everybody know a little bit of everything. So it's not going to, but it at least gives everybody a little quick standing on who you are. And then from there, we're going to go into conversations. Some of the things that were dropped were power of vulnerability, legacy of Ladies First, meaning, how do we continue this? Like, how do we continue to connect with those that are on the panel and those that are listening? Anxiety and confidence, duality and complexity. I like this one. Ratchet versus, ratchet and academic, meaning you can do both. Accountability, responsibilities of your own, holding women responsible, which is what Abria was talking about, for their own financial stance. Like, if you want to make money, you need to fight for it. So not to make an excuse, but getting out there and making sure that you do get the money that you need to get, and understanding and knowing your own value. One of the main things that we talked about that kind of brought us to this is, I think that's one thing we need to be, is very vulnerable and open. But also one of the top conversations that I know that I'm going to bring up is anxiety, and just being really open and talking about the fact that, I think we all talked about kind of like, we all came from a space of being, of having high anxiety when it comes to certain things. And that's one thing that women have. But at the same time, we're told, I'm strong because I'm a woman. Yes, we're strong. I'm strong. Can't no man put me in my place. And on the other side, we're crumbling and we're ashes on the inside. We burnt out. We ain't got nothing left. And we don't tell anybody, because the word is, we're women and we're strong. And as that happens, no one sees that, we are in need of support. Not support like we don't need you to coddle us, but when we put ourselves out there, don't say, well, oh, you guys are ladies, it's so sweet. Let's make sure you get, no. As a strong person who is very intelligent, I need you to support me in what I'm doing. So a lot of those a lot of what you'll see on on the recording. Sorry, Heather will help with that as far as what we talked about. But you know, it's just gonna be a fun time. I know we're gonna we're gonna talk serious, but then we're gonna have some fun conversations, and all of us, especially because all of y'all, I know all of y'all, we all have had our fun moments, we've had our serious moments, and I know that in those times you guys are open people, so it's not going to be like, oh no, I don't want them to know that about me. I mean, people don't need to know all your business, but just being open so that everyone that's viewing this feels that they have a true takeaway, and not just, oh, those are some very intelligent women, but like, I need to reach out to Heather, because if she went through that, maybe she can help me through that. As a college student, Miss Clark, I've always wanted to run for SGA president, but as a woman, I didn't know what I would go through. I could actually reach out to her and she could help me, through that thought process or what she's going through, so I can be prepared. You'll see early on this too, how Jaden mentioned about going to grad school and all this. All of a sudden, Destiny almost bit her own tongue off. She was like, because it's Texas State, and when she brought up Texas State, Destiny was resting. She was like, I already know who you need to talk to. I'm gonna get you prepared, girl. You're gonna be ready. And then Abria, started giving her comments on, it feels good to hear you speak that way. And it just, for Jaden, she just lit up. Like, wow, this kind of support. And that's what I want to be able to do through this, is show that kind of support. And like I said too, when Black History Month happened, what do? Black History Month over, we were like, oh, we're gonna do more, and we don't. So, and Heather, we've always talked about these women's circle, and we're gonna do more, whatever. But I think that if we do it in this way, where we schedule a ladies first a little more often than little, and bring us together, and we're having these conversations, just bringing people in on the conversation versus trying to bring everybody together in the room. It helps us to help each other, but then to help those that never reach out or don't know who to reach out to. So, and then we're just cool chicks. So, period. Get some of this. Get some of this.
Are you gonna send us the run of show, like how long you want the conversation to be and all that good stuff too?
Yeah. So the idea, I didn't see any of these comments that y'all made. The empathy, that's a good one too. The idea is I wanted to get, what is her position? What's her position? Dee Adams. Is it Congresswoman or?
No, she's Mayor Pro Tem these days. Since Vivian Burke died.
Yeah.
So to speak at the beginning, just to give a piece about it being our time as women, and I was going to have her to speak, for about 15 minutes just to open up, and then we'd go into us in a conversation, since we can't do, how we normally do a whole thing with a quick guest speaker and then go into the panel. So I wanted it to go from like 6 to 7:30. If it goes a little over with the conversation, maybe another 10 minutes or whatever. And then, of course, not going too far over where we can't, allow people to drop questions and stuff. But I love this space because people can't pop up and be like, so why is, no, drop your questions in there and we'll bring them up. So this will allow us to have that time and pull questions and then end it at a proper time. So that's pretty much how it'll go, but I'm definitely going to send everybody a run a show. I had to wait and see who all was going to be a part.
Okay. Just a quick underlying, help you understand where I will forever be coming from, so people aren't taken off being an HBCU grad. Did you say political science? What did you say for Texas State? Your program?
Public relations.
Public
but
relations.
I'm a justice studies minor now.
Okay. Public relations. That's like mass comm in that space, right? Girl, the stars are aligning for you. I'm sorry. The chair of that department is a Black woman who's my sorority sister too, who was sorority sisters with Dr. Ben. So you will be in good hands. Anyway, I digress.
Look at God. Right.
I digress. But what was I about to say? Where I'm going to be coming from, Shelly, And always, my research is on historically Black colleges. I am an HBCU grad. I'm a former student affairs administrator at HBCUs. I understand the respectability politics that plays out on all of our campuses, especially in the South, especially when it pertains to us as women in leadership roles. And so I am going to be bucking that at every head. I'm going to be challenging and getting folks to think critically about some of the statements that they made, the two and not both together. And the segmenting of how we should be as women. So I'm just letting you know that's where I'm going to be forever being like, no. Okay.
So mention that at the beginning.
And forevermore.
And mention that at the beginning so that it's understood. So yeah, I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and end this. And of course, I would rather this is the kind of conversation I'll talk for another 2 hours and be happy. But I got to jump onto another call too. And I will send this this YouTube link to everyone so you guys can review it. Again, what I'm asking everybody to do, because I want it to be authentic and organic, is whatever, like, have your own questions or your own things that you would like to discuss. Some of these things may overlap, so you can be like, oh, well, we already talked about that. But I want us to pull as much as we can. If we don't get Dee Adams, I'm really not pressed about it, but I know that one of the young ladies, what's her name? What's her name that's with PAC? Ashanti Marshall. She wanted to pair up and she wanted to get Miss Dee Adams. And if we're able to have her as our opening speaker for this, then that would be perfect. If not, I'm perfectly fine with what we have. So I'll send an email. I'm just asking everyone to send me your a really good picture of yourself, not just close up. Please, no selfies. You know, Heather has a whole lot of trapping pictures. What should be them thirst trap pictures? Okay, you don't. Everybody go to her Facebook, you'll see it. Very beautiful pictures that she dropped, and just be like, and if it wasn't for the Lord.
I got a professional headshot I can see you, Miss Broussard.
If it wasn't for the Lord. And today I just wanted to drop
and
a little
all
love.
He has done for me.
And then drop a brown chocolate heart. Thirst trap. And all that he has done for me. All right, so that's all I'll need, and I'll send you guys. I'm gonna send that today. And anything we gotta continue to build from there, we can. This program again will be next Thursday, 6 o'clock. StreamYard. It'll probably be this same link. If not, I'll email you guys another one. But I'll probably have to send another one. I think it changed from last time.
And if you can't get Dee, I have another soror that works for the city as well. So just let me know.
Yes, you see how she had to let it be known she got sorors in high places too. I'm just messing. Who are you speaking of?
Regina Ford Hall.
Oh, okay. So I'll let you know about today what
because who reached out to Dee?
James Perry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say I could call Regina and ask Regina to reach out to her.
Okay. And I think the main thing I wanted her to well, I can forward you what I said to James, but okay. For her to understand what this platform is very open, and we are encouraging and uplifting through conversations.
Okay.
And you know, it's going to be very clean cut, but it can go there. And I don't know if y'all saw the other, y'all probably didn't. I'll send this link to the City Hall from this week. They were talking about reparations for Forsyth County and what happened with the divide of 52 and 40 and how that, you know, got rid of so many businesses and homes and all that kind of stuff. My friend Key Reed,
because they wanted to put that let me stop.
Yep.
I digress.
Yep.
Because that was a whole topic of conversation in Leadership Winston-Salem when it was coming about.
So did you ever meet Key Reed?
Mm-hmm.
You met her? Okay, she'll be a part of this too.
Okay.
And she's the one that gave the proposal as far as from the legal side of everything. But I'll drop that in the chat too. I mean the email. But I watched it last night. She finished up. Dee Dee Adams was in tears, and I can't remember the other woman's name. They was in tears. They was like, this is important and this must happen. I mean, it was so it's I'm gonna tell you, this right here, we'll probably have to do another one in April because of how strong these conversations are going to be for this for Thursdays. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that we need to talk about.
Yeah, it's clear, and that's why I posed a question about the duration of the conversation, because all of the things that you talked about, I'm sure everybody that you have in here, just the folks that I have experienced personally, I know can talk forever on those topics. And so
Yeah.
You're right. I think that this conversation is going to be fruitful, but there's a lot of topics that you have, and I think it
a
will
lot of
just
unpacking
create
to
a
do.
different
That's your
opportunity.
word.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and I don't want to cut it off. We'll know when we feel like, all right, y'all, we got to do this again. We're gonna stop here and we're gonna come back on this. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know how this analyzes itself, but I feel like this is like your bubble buster. And then whatever, like the top 10 things that come out of this should be like the spinoff of the next thing. And so that next series would be, the next broadcast you do would be focused on duality or shame or whatever else, but it'll be keyed in focus on those topics that we couldn't dive into and folks wanted to dive into.
Okay, I like it.
I think it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And yeah, so Heather, the other thing I was thinking is, with this, if you could share with the which I know you will with Central, and get those ladies to be a part of this, because I'd love for them to just be a part of the chat and all that, because I mean this ain't just for the Rams. I want this out for everyone. I want everyone to know about it. I'm going to send it to Tiffany so she can send it out. Actually, Tiffany's might be on this too. But yeah,
For sure.
and where it says welcome all Rams, it's not going to say that. I'm going to have like everybody's schools popping up on this, but right now. All right, well, y'all enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and I'm gonna see if I can hop on this 12 o'clock meeting that I said I'll be there at 12. I'll be all right. I'll be there. All right.
It's not like you got to walk across campus.
Let me go get my umbrella.
You just had technology issues.
Let me change my background. I ain't never used the background. Let me change my background real quick so I can be somewhere else. Yeah, not like I have technology issues.